It's the Horror Guys one more time. Episode 325 of Horror Weekly.
Yay!
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 We sound so enthusiastic today.
Yay! I'm tired. That's all right. We're going to do it anyway.
We are.
Because I'm Kevin.
And I'm Brian.
And we're going to talk about horror movies.
Yay!
Yay!
That's better.
Okay, that was more exciting.
What do we got? What do we got? What do we got?
We got the brand new Heart Eyes, which I've heard a lot of buzz about.
Saw a lot of ads for it, and honestly, they're really crappy ads. It made it look like a very generic slasher movie. Mm-hmm. And it turns out we both actually kind of liked it.
Yeah, the ads don't do it justice.
No.
Yeah. And we're going to look at 2012's Byzantium.
Very weird.
Yeah, that was a strange one. And 2024's Inhuman Kiss, which was totally odd.
Very different.
Yeah, very different. Asian horror movie with a
flying head with tentacles.
Creature that we had never seen or heard of before. Yeah. And then Tim Burton's The Corpse Bride from 2005.
Uh-oh, it's an animation. How's Kevin going to go on that one?
And The Dead Thing, which was also from 2024.
Well, I can tell which of the five is most forgettable.
And a couple of shorts.
Like which one is the dead thing?
Because you can't remember what the dead thing was.
And some shorts, yes. And as usual, this episode is brought to you by the Horror Guys Guides, including the Horror Guys Guide to the Academy Awards of Horror, available now at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and wherever you buy your books.
I've heard that's a mighty fine book.
And also Horror Monthly, with a monthly magazine of at least 20 or 30 or 40, a whole bunch of reviews every month.
And we can talk about the Oscars now that the Oscars are over.
They are.
The Substance won for some special effect thing, didn't it?
I don't know. The only one I remember was Alien Romulus got visual effects.
Yeah, that was one of them.
I can't imagine Nosferatu didn't get anything.
The awards as far as the horror movies were paltry.
They usually are.
Yeah.
Over a period of 80 years, though, there is a whole book worth of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're usually pretty skimpy and, they're biased against horror.
They are.
Because genre films.
Yep, they sure are.
Well, one that's probably not going to be up for the Oscars this year is 2025's Heart Eyes.
Probably not.
Directed by Josh Rubin. Written by Philip Murphy, Christopher Landon, and Michael Kennedy. Stars Mason Gooding, Olivia Holt, Mason Gooding again, and Gigi Zumbato. Hour 37 minutes.
So he was so good in this that he stars twice?
I guess. Yeah. Dual role? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, judge spoiler-free. What happens?
Well, this was way less serious than either of us expected because it's the trailer makes it look like
a regular,
serious, deadly slasher movie, and it's not. There's loads of humor in it.
It's a comedy.
It does have a serious body count and gore, but it's very much on humor and romance.
Yes.
Yeah, just very much a mashup, and like a rom-com almost.
Well, we've seen Valentine's Day horror movies before, but this was actually the rom-com kind of. This goes down the rom-com side of things.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. We found it entertaining.
Yeah. It was way better than I expected.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Patrick and Adeline are going to have the best Valentine's Day ever. He botches the proposal when she bites into the ring by accident. I told you not to put it into food. As they kiss, his phone interrupts. It's Nico, the photographer, who's messed up those candid photos. Someone kills Nico before they can try again.
Yeah, Nico is often hiding in the bushes with a long-distance camera to capture the moment.
To capture candid photos, yes.
Well, the killer gets Nico first.
Well, then Patrick gets an arrow shot through his forehead, and Adeline runs through the vineyard, and it's nowhere near as romantic as it was a minute ago.
No, it's not.
As the killer closes in on her, a security guard tries to stop things, but he dies quickly.
Saw that coming.
Adeline, on the other hand, learns what it's like to ride through a giant wine press. We're like, what is that thing she's hiding in?
It took us a minute to figure out.
We soon figured it out.
Yeah, it you know how it can squish grapes? It can also squish other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, other soft, juicy things.
Well, we see the killer in his mask, which does in fact have hearts for eyes. And the credits roll.
Okay.
Well, the news comes on and talks about the HEK killer. HEK for Heart Eyes Killer. He's struck several times in the past few Valentine's Days, and Valentine's Day is approaching once again.
Uh-oh.
We cut to Allie and Monica talking about the holiday. Allie is impressed to find that she has exactly the same coffee order as Jay Simmons, the hunky guy who is clearly on the path to be her new boyfriend, at least until she accidentally gives him a bloody nose and runs away.
Not a good first meeting.
No.
It's awkward.
Crystal Kane talks to the board. She didn't realize there was a Valentine's Day killer out there, so Allie's ad campaign is just terribly timed. It's like Cupid shooting people with arrows, killing them on the commercial, and it's supposed to be romantic, but it's not.
But it's bad timing, yeah.
Well, she's made an ad of various lovers dying violently, which is not the look Crystal was going for. She calls in Allie's replacement, which turns out to be J. Simmons.
Rom-com.
Well, detectives find a wedding band at the scene of the pre-credit murders, and it says J.S. What's his name again? J. Simmons.
J. Simmons.
Yeah, they know it was the HEK killer, and there's going to be more deaths, because he never just won.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jay and Allie talk. Monica and Allie talk. Allie goes on a date with Jay, and the bouncer at the expensive French restaurant runs a metal detector over her. Do they do that? Why would they do that?
Because of the
killer?
HK killer. Yeah, that's why they said at the door. They did mention that.
All right.
Because there's a killer on the loose.
Allie goes on and on about how she's the least romantic person ever. She really hates Jay, but kisses him anyway when she spots Colin, her ex, who is out with a date of his own. We see through the killer's mask as he watches all four people. So we're kind of giving away right away that it's not Jay.
Them.
We thought it was going to be Jay for a minute,
Allie.
but
yeah.
no.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, anyway, HEK killer.
HEK.
He's doing his thing.
Mm-hmm. How is he going to do his thing? Though?
Well, as we said, who is it? It's a whodunit,
It is a whodunit, yeah.
And the trailer made this look like a bog-standard slasher film, but it actually leans way over into parody and comedy. The characters' situations and deaths are mostly all very over the top, and they also have all the usual tropes from both slasher movies and rom-coms. It doesn't even have a stinger fake ending where the killer reappears before the credits. Well, it kind of does, but not the usual way. It's definitely not what we expected, and that's the best thing I can say about this one. We were entertained throughout.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I didn't think it showed a lot that I hadn't seen before.
No.
But it's really well put together, assembled well.
It makes fun of the stuff
good.
that you've seen before.
It does, yeah. Yeah. Entertainment value is high.
I was not expecting to like a Valentine's Day slasher movie.
And yet, we do.
And then, when we go through the list of people's favorite all-time vampire movies, this one keeps coming up, and we were completely unfamiliar with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2012's Byzantium, directed by Neil Jordan, written by Myra Buffini, stars, I'm going to butcher it, I'm going to call it Saoirse Ronan, Gemma Arterton, and Sam Riley. Little under 2 hours, and there's a trailer in the show notes.
And I knew nothing about this, and it kind of seems different than the poster implies, too.
Well, the poster shows a building.
Yeah, yeah, like it's all about this hotel.
The building, yeah.
Well, and it is. The Byzantium is the name of the hotel.
Well, as soon as we found out there were vampires involved, I asked, do you think this was an influence for that American Horror Story hotel series? And it's not.
Okay.
There's very little involved, very similar. There's a hotel and there's vampires.
But that's it, yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, this was kind of cool how it starts out with a couple of women and gradually fills in who they are and what their history is. There's horror and romance and very good storytelling. It's a little on the long and slow side. This is not an action movie, but that's a feature, not a bug in this case, as the movie unfolds. And it's a very good one.
And I'm going to step out on a limb and say favorite of the week.
Okay. I'm not going to go that far, but I did like it.
Yeah.
It's worth another watch someday.
Mm-hmm.
We did Only Lovers Left Alive last week about old vampires. This is not about really ancient vampires, but we get some history here.
They're pretty old.
Yeah, oldish.
They're older than people. Normal people. Yeah.
Nobody needs another vampire origin story.
And yet we get one.
Well, we do,
Sort of,
yes.
yeah.
Well, what happens?
Well, Eleanor writes a story and then throws it out her window. Robert, an old man, reads her note and says it's a good story. Her story is about Clara, who is full of secrets. Well, and then we cut to Clara, who's dancing in a nightclub. She steals from a man and then bites him on the nose when he puts up a fight.
Keeping it classy.
And she robs the till on the way out, too, yeah. The club owner fires her, and, she's like, yeah, I'm fired, I'm going to steal. And she runs out the door with, fists full of money. Well, when Werner comes looking for Clara, she leads him on a chase all over town. And who is this Werner guy?
We don't know.
Yeah, some guy in a suit shows up at the club saying, "Have you seen this woman?" Well, old man Richard takes Eleanor home and tells her stories from his scrapbook. There comes a time in life when secrets should be told. You've got secrets, haven't you?
He knows.
Uh-huh. He talks about old stories of revenants, and eventually she cuts his wrists and drinks his blood until he dies peacefully.
He was waiting for that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, Werner and Clara talk. He caught up with her. He repeatedly insults her. She very quickly beheads him in the hotel room.
We did not see that coming.
That escalated quickly, yeah. Eleanor comes home, and it looks like she's Clara's roommate, and she's not happy at the mess she finds. There's like a headless body, and, what have you been doing? Well, now they have to move again. So they set fire to the place and hitchhike out of town. Well, the two women split up for the evening, and we see they have very different approaches to picking up men. Clara does the classic whore thing, while Eleanor plays classical music for old people, and a waiter named Frank.
Well, that's probably not effective most nights.
Yeah, but Frank seems kind of sweet on her. Yeah. Well, Eleanor doesn't hurt her mark, but Clara invites her along to go home with Noel, whom she's found. And they go to his place, which is a big hotel called Byzantium.
That's where it comes from. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's vampires in a hotel.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And Noel, almost a Renfield kind of character.
Yeah, I don't think he really ever catches on to what they really are, though.
I don't think so.
He's just the human pawn.
He's kind of oblivious, yeah. But anyway, this is,
It's a vampire family.
Yeah, it's a mother-daughter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Clara is mom.
And how did that happen? Well, you'll have to watch and find out.
We find out because there are gradual flashbacks, and how they become vampires is not typical.
No, it's a very unusual way of doing it.
And how they feed is, what they're doing, and it's very good. It was different enough to be really interesting and well put together. I really liked it.
Okay, so would you call that a happy ending? Maybe.
Sorta, yeah. Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah, these vampires show reflections in the mirror and walk outside during the daylight. They don't have fangs, but they do have to be invited inside, and they do drink blood. Also, they don't turn other people themselves. They need to go to a special place to do it. This one is slow-moving. We're not really sure where it was going through most of the runtime. The main plot is about Eleanor wanting to talk about her secrets to Frank and the results of that, but the various flashbacks to the past are where the action is. I don't know what kind of school Eleanor and Frank were attending. At one point, they were lying on their backs talking about personal problems like some kind of weird acting class or self-help group. Not like any high school I've ever seen.
It's a special arts kind of place, I think, and yeah. Not a typical high school.
What art was he into?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that's just a weird... I guess they just needed to have a weird scene.
Yeah.
And also, why would Eleanor bother going to school? She's hundreds of years old.
Because she liked it.
She looks like a teenager, but she could also pass for an adult and not need to bother.
Yeah. I think she liked it.
All right.
Yeah, she was getting something from it.
It's one way to stay current, I guess.
Yeah.
Vampires have trouble with that.
Yeah, it would be.
Well, it's long, and it's involved. It's quite a detailed plot, but it's very well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, complex storytelling. I liked it.
Yeah. All right, next up is a weird one. 2024's Inhuman Kiss, also known as Sang Krasui. Directed by Siddhi Mangal Siri.
Oh, my.
Hello, Siri.
Those names.
Written by Siddhi Mangal Siri and Chukiyat Sakvirakul. Yeah, I'm just making this up, I think. Stars Fantira Pipi Tiakorn, Oab Nithi, Wee Watanawarang, and Sopol Asawamakong.
This is
Thailand.
This is a Thailand movie.
Oh my gosh, I hope I never have to read those names again.
And the names, yeah. Fortunately, in the movie, most of the characters are going by shortened versions of their names.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 hours, 2 minutes trailer in the show notes. And this one is subtitled, obviously, from those names. You could probably figure that one out.
Yeah. And I will do the spoiler free so that
You
you
should.
can read the names. Well, it was a Thai film, like we mentioned, which in itself is kind of interesting because we don't see that very often.
I don't know that I've ever seen a Thai horror film.
Maybe once or twice, but
Not many.
Not often, yeah. It also has a lore and a creature that was different than what we've seen before. It's really well made, has great special effects, and it's sort of a horror love story. It's on the long side, but it was worth it. I thought it was really cool.
I think this is my favorite of the week.
And as you can see, if you look at the poster, she's a disembodied head with tentacles, and that's what these creatures are. Their head detaches from the body, and they
flies
go
around.
wafting around at night like a spirit, and they are carnivorous. They can be appeased with animals, but they'll go after people if they can and do. And yeah, it's complicated.
We open with 4 children walking through a field, and then a jungle in Indonesia. Jerd and Noi whine about how far it's been. As it gets dark, they come to a large abandoned house out in the woods. They've heard that inside this house is a chest that holds Nual's spirit. Nual guards the forest. When Noi wants to leave, Ting and Sai side with Jerd to go inside. Sai gives Noi a protective amulet to help keep him calm inside. We soon see that there is absolutely a ghost inside the house with them, as credits roll. Well, years later, the little kids have gotten older. Sai is having her period. She and Jerd talk about school being closed due to the war in Bangkok. I don't know any history of Bangkok or Thailand or when that would have been, but this is not in the present day, I don't think.
I don't think so. There wasn't really much technology.
No.
Yeah.
It's nice having some time off, they say. And they go to a hospital that has been abandoned, but they're not sure why. Sai helps out at the hospital, but today she's the only one there. Aunt Kemlai, an old woman, comes in with an injured boy, and she mentions that a Krasui ate her chickens. The dingo ate my baby. The Krasui ate my chickens.
The Krasui ate my chickens.
The old woman talks about the rules of Krasuis. Sai talks to a man in town who's going on patrol to watch out for the creature. No one has seen one of these in a long time. Ting talks to Sai about how cute and rich Jerd is, and Sai blushes.
She's sweet on him.
That night, she dreams of the old house and scary things. When she wakes up, her window is open, she's covered in blood, and she's all scratched up. Maybe the blood the previous night wasn't from her period after all.
Them chickens fighting back?
She and Jerd go back to the old house in the woods. There are dead animals outside the house, and then they see someone coming in the darkness. It's Noi, and he's got a torch. He's just come back from the war where his parents were killed. Then a bunch of other people show up, and they don't look too happy. The leader of the group says they've come from a neighboring village where all the chickens and small animals have been eaten by the monster. He says, if a mother Krasui spits in water and a girl drinks it, she becomes another Krasui. Well, the man opens up a cage, and he shows them that he's literally got the dead head of a Krasui in there. They've got a whole bunch of these heads.
So they can be killed, these creatures, yeah.
These men are Krasui hunters, and they're here to catch the one in town.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably where we should stop.
Yeah, hilarity ensues from there. Because, just because you're a monster doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Well, we looked it up. A Krasui is a spirit from Southeast Asian folklore depicted as the head of a young and beautiful woman that floats at night with her internal organs hanging below her. She's a vicious creature driven by extreme hunger and thirst, active throughout the night until she must return to her body by daylight. During the hours of day, she'll wander among the local population as a normal human, albeit with a tired expression.
Not enough sleep.
And that pretty much covers this whole movie. That was right on what they do.
No sleep at night.
This one is fun because it's kind of a monster we haven't seen before, in a country we don't see much of in horror movies. It's long, but it didn't get boring, although it probably could have been shortened a little bit. The characters and actors are all interesting and well done. There's a love triangle aspect that is really well done without being too cliched.
Mm-hmm.
The special effects and the creature makeup are excellent here. It's CGI, but it's pretty well done.
Yeah, I thought so.
Although we don't see much of the monster for the first hour. I think maybe it's a little over the top ridiculous, so they try to keep it back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just way better than I thought it would be. And as I said, it's my favorite of the week.
I'd put it on number 2 for me. Yeah,
I like Byzantium too,
really good.
but yeah, this was just good because it's so unique.
We mostly had good things this week.
Yeah.
Mostly.
The one I'm least interested in was 2024's The Dead Thing, directed by Elric Kane.
You mentioned it didn't stick with you very much.
Yeah, I'm going to have to read the synopsis and see what I wrote that happened. Written by Elric Kane and Webb Wilcoxon, stars Catherine Hughes, Blue Hunt, and John Carna. 1 hour, 34 minutes, and there's a trailer in the show notes. Spoiler-free, a young woman, generally unsatisfied with her life, is also unsatisfied with the string of guys she dates and sleeps with. But when she meets someone special, and we think that it's going to be a happily ever after, oh, nope, it's a little more complicated than that.
A lot more complicated.
This was kind of unique, a little bit low on the scares and high on the drama, but we liked it more than disliked it.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Yeah.
All right, well, what happens?
Well, Alex looks at her phone, and then she has sex, and credits roll.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, this is how she's spending a lot of her time. She works, she meets guys, and, trying to connect with somebody and not succeeding at it. She's not seeming real happy. She spends a lot of time on her phone's dating apps, swiping and swiping, and she dates a lot. She keeps trying. She likes Mark, her coworker, but she's not going to go there. And then she meets this one guy, Kyle, with a photo of his cat. And they spend the night together and talk about a lot of things.
Is that all it takes? I've got 2 cats.
Give it a try, yeah. Over some time, they get close. And Alex's roommate, Kara, is engaged to Paul. But Alex doesn't like him. Neither does Kara very much, apparently. They're having some issues despite heading toward marriage. It looks like they might be heading not toward marriage. Well, Kyle, the guy she likes, doesn't answer any of Alex's texts. And she starts to get kind of upset. She really thought they had a thing. Mark asks her if they could be a thing, but she doesn't want to date a coworker. She turns him down again. He's definitely interested. Well, she's infatuated with Kyle. And she tries another date in the meantime because Kyle just isn't, has ghosted her. And then on another date with another guy, she spots Kyle across the room and follows him. Well, Alex tracks Kyle down at his job, and the barista there says he was killed not long ago. And she's even got an in memoriam flyer from the funeral.
Oh, he was ghosting her.
He was ghosting her.
Let's stop there.
And yet she saw him across the bar.
Yep.
What does this mean? Well, we find out.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. It was a unique kind of ghost story.
Yeah. We get a long way into this before we know what's going on, and even then there are lots of bits that we're not told. Kevin suspected that Kyle had been a serial killer in life, and that he would have killed Alex if he hadn't died and lost his memory first.
I saw that as a possibility.
It was.
That wasn't
it,
how
though.
It worked out.
That probably would have been more interesting than what we got.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's a ghostly romance story with a bit of murder and mayhem thrown in. This is like our Valentine's episode.
Yeah,
3 romances in a row.
Lots of romance, yeah.
It's got very little action, but a lot of drama. It's fine, but it's not going on my top 10 list this year.
Top 10, no, but certainly worthy of checking out.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, and I guess this is our oldie for the week. It's 2005's Corpse Bride. Directed by Tim Burton and Mike Johnson. Written by Tim Burton, Carlos Grangel, and John August. Stars Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, Emily Watson. Hour and 17 minutes.
And it's not quite animation, it's that stop motion puppetry.
The stuff that Tim Burton is known for, yes.
Yeah.
Like Nightmare on Elm Street.
And the puppetry.
No. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's a mashup we really need.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the stop action puppetry is impressive, and it is clearly a Tim Burton work.
Nothing else looks like Tim Burton.
Yeah. The voice cast is a collection of recognizable people, including Christopher Lee in his last horror movie role. Brian was fairly entertained, I believe, and I was not very much.
You're an animation bigot.
No, I don't know. Just this one doesn't grab me.
This is not the best. No, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. If you like the Tim Burton Johnny Depp animation kind of things, this is one of them, and it's fine. It's not great.
Well, I found myself tuning out, and I have noted here in my commentary that, I was checking my computer and, doing my phone and doing other stuff. And I realized, 20 minutes just passed, and I completely have no idea what happened in this movie in the last 20 minutes.
Well, what is your thought on Nightmare Before Christmas?
Barely better. Yeah.
It's a perennial classic.
It gets long. I mean, I love that opening number, the This Is Halloween song, but then it just drags on and on. And then Santa appears, and there's the Santa and the goblin guy in the.
I'm rolling my eyes at
but
you.
Most of it's just draggy.
Okay. You'd like the live action stuff.
I do, yeah, so much more.
Well, we watch as Victor Van Dort draws a picture of a butterfly. He releases it, and we follow along as it flies through the town. We soon learn that this is a musical, as Victor's parents sing about the pending wedding and how it's a great day for a wedding. Across the street, the bride's parents sing the exact opposite song. They're a little less enthusiastic.
Yeah, they are.
But her family is dead broke, and they need the wedding for the money. And the happy ending here is when the broke parents get the money.
Yeah.
Huh.
Money solves all problems once again. Yay.
Well, the parents all get together to discuss the details of the wedding while Victor keeps himself busy by playing the piano, which draws in Victoria, his bride-to-be that he's never actually met before. 3 hours later, Pester Gulswells runs them through the wedding rehearsal one more time. There are a lot of words to memorize, and Victor's not doing well.
Yeah, it's a complicated ceremony it's going to be.
He can't even manage to light a candle. In the middle of the ceremony, Lord Barkis Bittern comes in, and he's all stuffy and proper. The whole thing goes badly, and Glasswell cancels the ceremony until Victor can learn his vows. Victor goes for a walk in the woods as he frets over the lines that he can't remember. He recites his vows as he meanders through the dense old creepy woods, and finally gets it right, except something in the wood hears him and acts on it. Victor has accidentally committed to marrying a dead woman. "I do," whispers the corpse bride as she appears on the ground.
And that leads to trouble.
It does, yes. Well, this is probably the most Tim Burton-y of all the Tim Burton animated films. He didn't make much that looked like this afterwards. I think maybe this wasn't the big success he was hoping for, and he just stopped doing them.
Mm-hmm.
It basically takes everything he learned from A Nightmare Before Christmas and brings back the best of that. The problem is, if there is one, is that there isn't much new here. It's not subtle. Everything in Dead World is bright and colorful, and the real world is dark gray and dull. There are a few songs, but like you said with Nightmare, I want to call it Elm Street.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas had a really good soundtrack. And this, it's got the songs, but there's only a couple of them, and they're not that memorable.
No, the songs in Nightmare Before Christmas are more memorable.
I'll mention, though, It's a Good Day for a Wedding song, because I put it in my description, but I don't remember any of the others.
Yeah.
Well, the cast, on the other hand, is pretty amazing. Every character is played by somebody you'll recognize. If you're a fan of this kind of animation, I am, you'll probably like it, but it's definitely middle of the road for Tim Burton films. I gotta point out that Christopher Lee appears in several scenes as the terrifying Pastor Gulswell. Well, he is a scary old preacher.
Mm-hmm.
He does get the line, "You shall not enter here," which probably was a nod to the Lord of the Rings.
Very similar to something Gandalf the Grey says.
Yeah, he always wanted to play Gandalf the Grey, but he was too old for Peter Jackson's movies. But his voice here is unmistakable, although he didn't do any songs. And as you said, this was his last horror role.
He could have totally sang. He sings. He sang. He was a singer, but he didn't.
Well, he was maybe in the group. He didn't have any solo songs.
Yeah.
Not that I noticed.
Yeah. Well, I can appreciate it for the work that it is, but for entertainment value, just wasn't into it.
All right.
Yeah, and this was my second time seeing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got a short film.
We do?
The Itch from 2020. Directed by Connor O. McIntyre. Written by Ethan Walden. Stars Shane Herndon, Chelsea Jordan, Nicholas Dow, and Bobby Gutierrez. A little under 12 minutes, and this is on YouTube. Just follow the link in the show notes. What happens?
Well, Enzo asks his girlfriend Abby if she's going into work today. But Abby said she's going to stay home today. She takes a shower, finds a red mark on the back of her neck.
Just a big pimple.
And it itches. The itch gets progressively worse, and she misses more and more of work. Enzo keeps saying there's nothing much there, and she just needs to suck it up and move on with her life. Well, eventually she's had enough of both problems.
Mm-hmm.
Enzo and the itch. Yeah.
Well,
It's really well filmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we always know, what's going on.
Yeah, there's no doubt what's happening.
Yeah, the two leads are very good. The body horror effects are very good. And overall, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very good one.
Takes us to our last one. Oh, it's called Last One Screaming from
Ooh.
2018.
Okay.
Written and directed by Matt Davino. Stars Camila Greenberg, Olivia Mackenzie Smith, and Derek Alvarado. 9.5 minutes, and it's on YouTube also. This one, well, what happens here?
Well, Ashley sits in the police interrogation room waiting to be interviewed by a psychologist. The two detectives who have already questioned her think she's a loon and guilty of at least 3 murders. They're on the other side of the one-way glass.
Commenting on everything they see.
Yeah. Well, the doctor enters the room, and she seems to understand completely about the satanic puzzle box that they found at the cabin in the woods.
The what? The where?
Yeah. What really happened here? Yeah. Did Ashley kill all her friends? And the answer seems obvious fairly quickly, but the question is why? And even more questionable is the psychiatrist who seems to believe every word.
There's a story we don't get and we should.
This needed more. This left me wanting for more. Yeah. And we've seen slashers and cabin in the woods kind of things before, and we often wondered, how is a survivor going to explain what happened? This gives a little snapshot of one possibility.
Yeah, if you're in a Friday the 13th movie and Jason kills the entire camp except you, and there's no body for him to be found, how do you explain that to the police?
You're sitting in the police interrogation room afterward.
Covered in blood.
Yeah. No, really, I didn't do this.
No, it was a mass killer, really.
Uh-huh.
Oh, hey, we're all out of movies.
Oh, darn it.
We'll have to watch more next week.
We should watch more.
Want to do a theme week?
Sure.
Did you like the Bloodstone movies?
Yeah.
Did you like the Puppet Master movies?
Yeah.
Did you like the Killer Toys movies?
I think we're going into Full Moon Entertainment.
Full Moon and Charles Band directing movies.
Okay.
He done some really good stuff, and then there's the stuff we're going to watch next week.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
So he's kind of hit and miss is what you're saying.
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
The good and the bad and the atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be for next week. Or if you just can't wait, you can read the reviews and the full synopses on horrorguys.com. Or better yet, sign up at horrorweekly.com and get it free in your email box once a week. Very convenient.
Very much.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
And we'll see you next week.
See ya.